Hello, my name is Wayne and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to change the brake pad on a www 2018 Mercedes-Benz S560. A little bit different from the www S550 on the 2016 Mercedes. So I'm just going to go through the changes, but the rest of the procedure is still the same. I'm going to go ahead and change views and show you what I'm doing so far. Alright, so I already changed the right rear brake pad. I'm going to go and show you what I actually did. And before you even start, the first thing that you probably want to do is remove the panel that basically covers right here. And this is the panel right here, and you pop them out with a screwdriver. It has a little groove right there. Just pop them out, and there's about 4 of them. There's one here, 2 here, the other one's over there, and the other one's right here. And basically what you want to do, you want to take this and you want to loosen it. Alright, so we remove the brake cap. We're going to put it on later. We can just leave the cap on it while we do the work. Alright, so remove the brake cap, and what we're going to do, we're going to close the hood. We're going to come back here, and like I said before, we already changed this brake pad. We're going to go ahead and change the rear right where the sensor is. But I just want to show you the thickness of the brake pad, and this is pretty much worn. And you want to do it before the brake light comes on in your dash. If the brake light comes on in your dash that your brakes need to be changed, then you have to change the sensor as well. So this is the old brake pad. And this is the new brake pad. See, the thickness is definitely thicker. So let's go on the right rear and change that as well. And as you notice, safety is always important. I have a brick in front and a brick in the rear. And the reason why you have a brick in the front, because when you release the parking brake, the car is going to move a little bit, and you want the brick to catch it. So that's very important. I have 2 here, and if you come around on the other side, I have another brick behind the front right. So let's go ahead and work on the right rear and show you what's needs to be done. Alright, so let me show you what I have to remove the right rear. I have a 1/2-inch ratchet, 17mm socket. I have a 1/2-inch open wrench, and I have 17 open wrench as well. And then I have something that I use for leverage. This is for the pushing the brake pad piston back into place, and this is to help put the tire back on. And of course my 3-ton jack, which you must have if you're going to work in and around the car. You're going to remove a wheel, you're going to work, you know, do some serious work. So I wouldn't have anything less than 3 ton. I actually have 2 of these. One is a low profile, and this one is a jack I had like 10 plus years. So, and of course you see my safety brick there, and on the front left I have 2 bricks, one for the front, one for the back, and that's to prevent the car from moving. So we can go ahead and remove this tire and have access to the brake pad as well as the sensor. And oh, I almost forgot, we probably want to have a little tweezer, and that's to help with the brake pad sensor. So these are all the tools that you need at a glance to do the job properly. So let's go ahead and remove this tire and have access to the brake pad. All right. So this is off. All right, so this right rear is different from the left rear because it has a sensor that we're gonna remove. And since I didn't get the brake light indicator on my dashboard, I'm gonna use the sensor again. Now, you change the sensor when you have that indicator in your dashboard. So that means once you see it, you can no longer use it. But since it didn't come up yet, I'm gonna use the existing sensor and just change the pad itself. And we're gonna do the same procedure. First thing I'm gonna do, and you notice the smaller 1/2 inch will go here, go there like that. And the smaller one, the bigger one, which is the 17, the 17 will go here and look like that. And if you have plain room, you can actually use a ratchet. But I also bought a little bit of leverage here. So let's do the one on the low one first. I'm gonna take that there. I'm gonna put this like that. Actually, let me put this like that. And basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this for leverage. And this is gonna go over this. And now you have a leverage. And of course I'm gonna use 2 hands for this because I I didn't get my go-to camera yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this. I'm gonna do the top. And that's the reason why you have the 17 here. So when you turn this, this doesn't move as well. We're gonna do the same thing for right here. We're gonna pull back to the right, and we're gonna put the 17 here. Put the 17 here. I may need a little bit of leverage. So guess what I'm gonna use? All right, we're gonna use the same pole for leverage. Notice the 17 and the leverage stick, what I have, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up, and I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this as well while I hold on to this. So left hand will be on this open wrench, my right hand will be where I'm holding right now, which is the leverage pole. All right, so I went ahead and I pull it. Let's see if I can do it. And actually this is loose as well. So we can go ahead and just loosen this, take this off, and then we can go ahead. Matter of fact, we're gonna remove the sensor as well, and the sensor requires a special nut, which is here. So we're gonna take that off as well. We're gonna go ahead and pull the sensor out. This is where our tweezer comes in. Just gonna go ahead, we're gonna pull this out of the groove. All right, now that's out. So now when we remove the sensor, this is free. All right, so this is a special socket. It's a star. You can actually look at it, and we're gonna use what is this number? It's E11. So we're gonna take that. We're gonna put it there, and it's a perfect fit. And this is a 1/2 inch socket. So we'll go ahead and loosen that out. All right, so this is a 1/2 inch socket, and one of the great things about doing your own work is that you have your own ratchet set, which is good. And you have no idea how long I had that ratchet set, over 10+ years, working on different makes and models of the car. We'll go ahead and change this out. We're gonna take this, we're just gonna loosen up this both here. We're gonna do the same thing, we're gonna pull it backwards towards the right. All right, so very important. The only thing that you wanna do is to loosen this, and don't remove the bolt, because you still have to release the caliper, and we do that by going into the dash and do a series of command on the steering wheel executor. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so we're in the cabin. First thing we want to do, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna push in the button, 1, 2, and the parking brake, you have to release it so it doesn't appear on the screen. So notice on the bottom left corner, if I push this up, the parking brake is released. If I push it down towards the ground like that, the parking brake is re-engaged. So you have to release the parking brake. I'm gonna go ahead and push it up so that disappears. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into the service menu. What we're gonna do, we're gonna push this key or button to the first position. This is gonna come up. And of course, we make sure that the parking indicator is off. We're gonna go ahead, press the left button at the top, this one here first, and then we're gonna press this one second and hold it down for 5 seconds. So go ahead, push that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This comes up, and basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna scroll down, brake pad replacement. We're gonna go ahead and push this in for OK. Move to fitting position with OK, hit OK. Now we're gonna listen for the sound. Let me go ahead and wind down the window so you can actually hear it if you can. All right, that was the sound. I don't know if you heard it or not. We can go ahead, we're gonna leave the car in this position because remember, we have the bricks holding everything. We'll go in the back and we'll go ahead and we'll take the caliper off, and the caliper should be, all right, now that the brake pads are in the position that we want it to be, we can go ahead and loosen the 2 bolts, and notice the direction that I'm loosening the bolt. And then this actually piece, the center piece actually comes out. All right, so this is out. Go ahead and now we got this out, and we already loosened the cap, the brake reservoir cap, so we can go ahead and use our special tool, which is here. We're gonna put it, let's take this here, put it just like that. We're gonna leave it just like that. We're gonna take this tool here. This is a special tool I ordered on the internet, and this is actually gonna go in here, and you move it like a wrench, and it pushes this piston back that way. So when you put on the thicker brake pads, which is here, it's easier. So let's go ahead and take out the old brake pad. We're gonna take out this one first. Notice the thickness is barely nothing on it. We can go ahead and remove second brake pad. Again, barely nothing on it. And we're gonna go ahead and put it like that. We're gonna take the new brake pad. And we can go ahead and change these little pins right here. Take the new one, take this out, put this new one in. You can do the same at the top. Go ahead, take this out. This comes out. And this new one comes in just like that. All right, so you have 2. And then when you put in the brake pad, they go in the slots. So the first one here, the curve will go towards the rotor. Come in here, that goes like that. You look at the thickness, it's pretty thick. All right, and then the second one, we're gonna remove the brake sensor and put into the new one. All right, so we're gonna take the sensor off the old brake pad, and we're gonna put in a new one. And notice the hole that's there. That's where the brake pad fits into. So let's go ahead. We're gonna use our tweezer and just pull out the brake sensor and put into the new one. I'm gonna go ahead and just pry from the bottom. Okay, and we're just gonna take it and we're gonna put into the new brake pad. Look at the hole, same exact position. We're gonna take it, we're gonna push it down, make sure everything lines up. It has a groove in it, if you can see in the side. We can go ahead, we're gonna push it straight down. All right, goes in like that, and this is it. And we save money on the brake sensor because, you know, everything adds up. Come here, put into the slot, and now you have this. So you have nice, complete brake pad. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take the new thread, which is in the box, and like I said, it's a one-time use. You turn it in, you don't take them out unless you're gonna change the brake pad again. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna push the piston back, and we're gonna use a special tool. It's a special wrench for that. You can use a C-clamp, but I guarantee you won't be able to use a C-clamp for the front. So let's you want to get the appropriate tool for whatever job you're doing in your car, so it doesn't take you all day to do it, so to change it or whatever needs to fix it. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna insert it into the caliper and then push this piston back. All right, so that's basically how the wrench is gonna fit into the caliper. And once you adjusted it so it can fit into the slot, you're just gonna flip the slot, and then just like you're using a wrench, push the little piston back, and we'll show you in a minute how it looks. All right, so notice the piston is actually pushed back all the way. What we're gonna do, we're gonna flip the slot and use the reverse to take the wrench out, and then we'll show you what it looked like. All right, so we actually reversed the special wrench, and this actually comes out, and this is what the piston look like when it's pushed back. And all we're gonna do now is put everything back together, put the sensor, reconnect the sensor, and it looks great. So let's see what it look like when I do that. The sensor wire goes through the hole, which is at the top. Everything lines up. The bolt will go there, top bolt will go there. The sensor, we reconnected, put it into a little hole in there, so everything fits nice. There go the pins for the sensor. So this is the difference between the right rear wheel and the left rear wheel. The right rear wheel has a sensor, and the left rear wheel doesn't have any sensor. So, and that's basically how this thing works. We can go ahead, take our special screw, put it here. Same thing for the bottom. This goes in the bottom, and we'll do the same thing. And notice this part is turning. Take one hand, put it there. We just want to catch the nut. Same thing for the top. Just want to catch it. Once we catch it, everything else is good. All right, so that's caught. So we're gonna do the same thing reverse. We're gonna use our 1/2 inch as well as our 17 to tighten them up. And I almost forgot to mention, these has to be torqued. All right, so the torque in using the 2016 video, and you know, for old school, I'm not gonna call myself a mechanic, but pretty much handy, you have a good idea of how tight these bolts are. So let's go ahead and put the sensor back. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you a view of what it looks like. So we're just basically just gonna line them up. All right, so that's all lined up. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this back. There you go, our special star nut, and we use the E811. See if I can get a better shot. And of course, let's go here. And that's it. It's perfect fit. All right, and this is a half inch socket. So we'll go ahead and use our 1/2 inch wrench, and we'll tighten everything back up. And oh yeah, by the way, it's a good idea to wear some yellow gloves so you don't get your hands dirty. Take this, one more turn, to get the 1/2 inch socket. 1/2 inch socket, we're gonna take it, we're gonna turn to the left. And that's nice and tight. All right, and I don't know if you remember this from the 2016 video when we were working on the brakes, either the front or the back. This is very helpful in putting the tire on. This you get from Amazon, and we'll go put that in there. The tie slides on. We put back all the bolts, and we'll show you what we do after that. Nice and snug. This comes out. This is very helpful. You have no idea. Take this. And what we'll do, we'll tighten it first, and then we'll tighten it some more. And oh, by the way, the lug nuts are also torqued. Now, I don't know how many of you actually torque your lug nuts, whether you're doing, you know, regular maintenance or whatever, but and yeah, and I want to be correct, yeah, you need the torque wrench, but I know everyone watching this video, they torque their stuff, so let's not even have to bother with that. So let's go ahead. This is all tight. We're going to tighten it one more time with the actual 1/2 inch socket. And for those of you thinking what's the difference between the 1/2 inch socket and the 3/8 socket, 3/8 socket, I would never use a 3/8 socket to loosen these. These are in a high pressure, high torque. You want something with strength, and I always use the 1/2 inch wrench, or the socket wrench, to do something like this. The 3/8 is for the smaller jobs. So that's the biggest difference. I want more torque when I'm actually tightening these nuts. Oh, the jack can't come out from underneath the car. Why? The car is a little bit lower than it was before. What we do to solve a problem like this, we go ahead and start the car. Remember, the car is going to adjust itself to the proper height. Let's go ahead and start the car. And we do have to take it out of the fitting mode. All right, there go our fitting mode. And brake replacement, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna push the OK button in here. Condition not fulfilled, so let's go ahead and close the trunk. All right, so let's go ahead and take it out of the fitting mode. All right, before we do anything, what we're gonna do, we have to take it out of the fitting mode. We're gonna do that by hitting the OK, which is this little button here, and that's before we even start the car, and the car can rise and we can pull the jack out. So let's go ahead and push OK. Fitting mode has been reached, and so all our brakes are locked. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna hit OK. And now we can come out of the service mode. We'll go ahead, come out. And this is the workshop menu. And you can actually scroll over, go back to trip. You know me, I liked my speedometer. And we can't forget the parking brake. So we can come down here and push it down. We're gonna notice on the bottom left hand of the screen. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna push down, and there go the park indicator. So that would complete the changing of the rear brake pad. And then what we're gonna do, the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go into the reservoir. We're gonna pour a little bit of brake fluid in it, and we're gonna tighten the cap. We're gonna pump the brakes. Very important. We can go ahead and pop the hood. Now, everything in your car, such as your hood, the trunk, that should be closed. Even your door should be closed in order for you to get into the system. I've tried it with doors open, and it just gives me a hard time. So let's go ahead. Let's look at the brake fluid. And the type of brake fluid that you want, you should always get any type of parts from or fluid from your dealership, so that way you know you're getting the right stuff. So that'll be it. So let's go ahead, pop the hood, and then finish up with this video. All right, let's go ahead and put the reservoir brake fluid cap back on, and let's go over a few things. For those of you into torques, let's go ahead and take a quick look on the page. This is from the maintenance manual. We have the bolt brake caliper support to the wheel caliper. It's 110 Newton meters. We have the middle one, which is the screw bolt brake wear sensor. That's that little screw for the actual sensor, and with that special star socket, and that is actually 8 Newton meters. And then this one talks about the guide pin to the brake caliper support bolt for the brake caliper. That's the 35 Newton meter. So this is the torque spec if you want. Let's go ahead and put this on the side, and let's take a look at the part for the rear brake pad. Is A0084200820. All right, so now that's on it. What I normally do, I go into the car and I pump the brakes. And I pump it before we start. But remember, we have a jack that the car was sitting low. So basically, in order to fix a problem like that, we're just gonna start the car. And we're gonna let the car rise. And then when the car rises, you'll be able to pull out your jack. And sometimes this happens. Other times, you can just pull the jack right out, and everything's good. Now, let's say the car rises and it's still not enough. What you can do is come over here, and there's a button you can press, which is this button here, to make the car rise. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let the car rise on its own, and go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead, now that the car is started, I'm going to pump it again, and we're going to go back over to the jack and see if we can actually pull the jack out. Let's turn this, and sure enough, so some of you may run into a issue like that where you can't pull the jack out because the car is resting on it. You just start the car and you press the either the height rise or just let the car rise on its own, and you're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead, pump the brakes one more time. Go ahead, I'm gonna turn off the car. I'm gonna check the reservoir, see if it needs any more fluid in it, and then we'll be done. Let's go ahead, everything looks good. Even if I remove it, all right, we're at the top. And the reason why that reservoir is at the top, because remember, we pushed in the piston at each brake, at each wheel, and that's probably the overflow come back in. So everything back, we're satisfied. We'll put this panel back. All right, put back the 4 screws. All right, push that in. This one goes in here. This is in there. Do the same thing for this one here. And then the last one, which is right here. All right, so as far as the changing the rear brake pad, it's same procedure, but the menu system inside the car is a little bit different because the steering wheel is different. So, and then this is it. You're basically done. Let's go ahead and close this. And we're actually done. So, like I always say, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.